And welcome back to my channel. I feel like I kind of want to unbutton this one. Is that too much? No, I think we're okay. Today's video is all about kitchen organization, specifically hacks that I think work well when small space living. You're probably looking at my kitchen behind me and being like, that is not a small kitchen. However, I have lived in the smallest kitchen that I've ever seen. This was our first apartment in Chicago. That kitchen was so stinking tiny, and I love to cook, which makes it really, really hard to work with. There's a lot of things that I did when living in that kitchen that I still carry into this kitchen today, because no matter how big a kitchen is, I can fill it. I love cooking and I love all of the different things that come with cooking. So that being said, these are my top 10 tips for kitchen organization. Number one, anytime you have hard to access cabinets, for example, I have this weird corner cabinet that's an odd shape, I highly recommend getting a Lazy Susan. Just one of these like round little devices that spins. It makes it so that way you can put a ton of stuff on there, and instead of me having to reach over and find what I'm looking for in this space, I can easily spin it and be able to access whatever is on there. If you have a lot of like condiments or sauces or spices, it can be used for so many different objects. Being able to have it on here and see everything instead of trying to like fumble around in a cabinet makes such a big difference. What you're gonna see as a common theme throughout a lot of my different tips in this is vertical space is the most underutilized type of space in a kitchen. If you can get really smart with it, you can do so much more with your kitchen. On that topic, this is a water bottle holder. It's just like a plastic water bottle holder I got off of Amazon. I feel like everybody has a ton of water bottles. Number one, I'm very anti-consumerism and I like to have a purpose for every single item in my house, but I do need different water bottles for different reasons, so I do have a couple of them. They're very annoying to stack, especially if you're talking about like empty Stanleys or things where they're top heavy and they knock over. With all the lids and stuff, it just becomes a pain. So having a water bottle holder like this where you can easily access them, but put them away and have a dedicated space, this works so much better than just having your water bottles like lined up in a cabinet. Highly, highly recommend. Last but not least, in this section of my kitchen, another vertical space hack, and that is these Nespresso pod holders. I feel like Nespresso pods are kind of an eyesore, and I see a lot of people get like the trays that they'll put underneath their Nespresso, or like a canister that they'll put next to their Nespresso with all the pods in there. But I hate taking up more footprint on my countertops if possible. I got these, they were super inexpensive off of Amazon. They're basically just little stick-on strips, but it makes it so that way I can slide all of my Nespresso pods in here, have easy access to them, but they're inside of the cabinet. So when my cabinet's closed, you can't even see them.
Wow.
I know. I know. Next tip is all about under sink storage. So I don't have to be as strategic with this area as I used to in our old place. Literally in that first kitchen, there was not a square inch of space that I could not utilize. I needed every single inch of it. But here we've done a little bit better. Regardless, my tip is still the same. I do highly recommend getting these sort of tubs. These are from IKEA, and putting all of your cleaning supplies in them. So this one has all of our cleaning supplies, glass cleaner, multi-purpose spray, the cleaner we use for the table, all sorts of different stuff in here. And then this tub is all just towels. Cleaning towels, I have dish towels, tea towels, all of those live in these. Instead of having all of these cleaning supplies just like out loose floating around where they'd knock over, they'd get pushed to the back, they'd probably spill. Having them in these tubs makes it so that way everything has a designated spot and it's way more well organized, and I can access it a lot easier. If you are someone who's in a smaller kitchen, you really need to make use of every single square inch of your place. They have tubs like this that are in tiers, and so you could have like 2 tiers of drawers. You'd be able to utilize a lot of this upper space, which we're just not doing in this current kitchen, but you could if you needed it. I also previously in my kitchen, I did command hooks on the back of the doors for our under cabinet sink, and this is where I would hang like dish towels and cleaning towels and stuff. I now hang them on my oven, but that could be a really great use for it too. Are you dead? No, I just want belly rubs. What?
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
There's supposed to be like some sort of continuity because you were just sitting.
I understand. I feel like a whale. There's no way I'm going to cutely pop up right now.
Okay. I think you did great.
Thank you. Next up is one of my tried and true. I've done this in every single kitchen I've ever lived in, and that is risers. There's some kitchens where I've needed to utilize this more than others. I think I have another one in here even. I don't know where my other riser went. Anyways, risers are the goat and they are necessary so much in small kitchens. They're super inexpensive. I think mine are originally from IKEA, but you could get them anywhere. It makes it so that way, like my cups, for instance, I could not fit all of my mugs and everything in this space, but with a riser, I'm able to because it just gives us that second level that is able to be used for vertical space. Things that don't go all the way up to the top, you're just gonna have dead space, and so it's better to be able to use it. And if you don't have another shelf you can add in, a riser is a perfect thing. I've used these in different kitchens. I've done plates stacked on them. I've done all of my spices. I've used them for plants. I've used them for mugs. It's one of the least expensive and most multi-purpose tools that you can do in so many different cabinets that really make a huge impact. I know I mentioned this already, but I hate having items on my countertops. There's already enough items on my countertops. We do not need more. So one item that is a pretty standard item to have on a countertop that I have opted out of is paper towel holders. Your traditional standing ones, they're fine and all, but if you can, we got this under cabinet like sticky paper towel holder. I love this thing. It just makes it so that way there's one less thing on my countertops. They're still right there, still super easily accessible. I would probably argue they are more accessible like this. It just makes it so that way I don't have to have the physical thing on the counter because it's kind of big. And when you have a whole roll of paper towels, like those are large, it's a large circumference. This is just so much better in my opinion. Next up is some sort of organization for your pots and pans. I do have the Caraway pots and pans, so you'll see these are my lids right here, and they do come with like the really nice stacking thing that goes into a cabinet. That doesn't work for my current place where we have our pots and pans, but the organization behind them I think is awesome. I will say, I'm gonna de-influence you right now, I don't like the Caraway pots and pans. As somebody who cooks a lot, well, the pots are fine, a pot's a pot. I don't love the pans. I don't feel like they're very good non-stick quality. Caraway, thank you so much for gifting me, but I have to be honest. But after using them for like 3 years, I just feel like there's probably better ones out there. However, I will give credit where credit is due, and the organization of them is better than usually what you would see in a standard pots and pans set. So I love having my pot lids right here because they are not taking up more space in my countertops. I've been lazy. These have hooks on them, so I could do really strong command hooks and hook them up somewhere, but there hasn't been a place in my kitchen that I think truly makes sense for that. So I've just slid them here and that works great. But in our last place, I did have them on the inside of a cabinet drawer, and I think that that is such a nice thing to be able to do with it because then it's just out of sight, out of mind, but they're there when you need them. Next up, I don't care how big my kitchen is, I will never not have these, and that is drawer organizers. So this one I have with all of our silverware, spoons, chopsticks, straws. And then over here, I have more of our like utensils. So this has all of my knives. I don't have like a butcher block or anything. And then like rolling pin, knife sharpener, measuring cups, can opener, a bunch of other things in this one. If I didn't have these, all of those items would just be loosely floating through the drawers, and that horrifies me. So being able to have them in organizers keeps them nicely separated. You know where everything is. You can easily access them instead of it having to be just like a junk drawer full of a ton of random stuff.
What a nightmare.
Truly, this is what keeps me up late at night. Number 9, time just is flying by when you're having fun and talking about organization. There ultimately will be things that you keep on your countertops unless you just have like the most amount of cabinets that you've ever seen. For me, some of the things that could not fit in my cabinets are Louis' dog food and his treats. He's like looking at me like, I know you're touching it. Look at him. What is this? Perhaps a puppy should have a cookie? Should I make him do a trick?
Yeah.
Sit. Thank you so much. There you go. He's gonna go eat it in his bed because he's polite. So these are things that I just didn't have cabinet space for, but obviously I must feed the young man. Getting aesthetic looking jars, I think just makes it look so much nicer when keeping things on your countertops. Again, dog food, I have treats. I also have my big thing of flour because I like to bake every once in a while over there, and that's in a nice looking jar. We keep our coffee in a jar. I think that looks a lot more aesthetic. Next on my to-do list of things that I want to put into other containers to make them look nicer. I've recently become bougie and I put a squirt of sugar-free vanilla in my latte every morning, and I hate this stupid bottle and I want to put it in a nicer bottle. But I think it's just a way to be able to leave out those items that you really utilize, they will not fit in your cabinets and you need them, but in a way that looks a lot more aesthetic.
You look aesthetic.
As is tradition. Last but not least, coming in at number 10, this is an item that wouldn't work necessarily in every single kitchen, but if you can get it to work in your kitchen, I could not recommend it more. And this is having a fruit basket hanging. I eat a lot of fruit. I cook a lot, so I have a lot of veggies. So like things like onions, potatoes, garlic, lemons, I always have those on deck. And I need a lot of them. Like you usually buy onions in a bag, and so you get a ton. Where the heck are you supposed to keep those in a small kitchen? It was always really hard for me to just have like a fruit bowl because I had more stuff than that and needed to be able to find space for it. I love my fruit basket so much. It just gives it all a place that's not taking up space on my countertop, and I can actually hold so much in this. So this has been way more impactful into my kitchen than I even thought it would be. If you do not have a wall in your kitchen to be able to do a hanging fruit basket on, they also have ones that stick underneath a cabinet. It's more like a hammock shape. Get that. Like I think that that would also be a really great alternative if you can't do something like this, but something again to make it so you're not leaving like another item on your countertop and being able to have all of those fruits and veggies, especially if you are somebody who cooks a lot. All right, guys, that wraps up all of my kitchen organization that I wanted to share with you today. I have had some really small kitchens in my time, and I just love organization and functionality. I just geek out over it. If you have any kitchen organization tips that you're like, this is my ride or die that I do that I have not spoken about in this video, please let me know, because I likely will implement it and do like anything to make my kitchen work better for me. And also it's just nice to share with the people in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something from this. I do have all of the items linked in the description box down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.